guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Wednesday, August 14th, all day until tomorrow, and we do have several actually late breaking stories here. I tried to hold off for a little while to see if I could get some more information, but I think it's getting late and I need to record. So anyway, it is 10:12 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to be looking at the latest Q-related news, or just news that I think that we are all really interested in and should be aware of. So let's go over there now. Actually, I want to take you first out to Twitter because, of course, we've heard about the Philadelphia shooting, and there are, I think, 6 police officers that have been wounded. I'm not sure if anyone has, been killed or not. I pray not, because they are all police officers. So at this point, anyway, I did just see that the mass fruiter is in custody, but I'm a little curious because it doesn't seem to be getting the mileage that other mass fruitings have received, and I'm wondering if it's because it doesn't fit their narrative, the narrative that they're wanting to put forth right now of these white nationalists. I hate to even say that word because it is a word that is censored online, but this one doesn't fit that. It looks like the police were trying to make an arrest of some sort, and this person was known for gang violence. At least that is the story that I have heard so far. But now, just as I was getting ready to record this, I heard of another shooter, and while I was looking into that, I've heard of another mass fruiting. So this one is in West Virginia. So let's take a look. I just put it into Twitter to get some, anything that I could about it, because there just doesn't seem to be that much information available yet, because, as I said, it is fairly new. So this person, Jeff H. Sports, said there's an active fruiter near a school in New Cumberland, West Virginia as well. According to both local TV stations, several hit. One report said 2 have been successfully fruited. And this one says, fruiter, West Virginia. The Hancock County Sheriff's Department says a fruiter has injured multiple people near the Oak Glen High School. Stay safe. And this says, what witness in West Virginia said he heard 5 people have been successfully fruited so far. And I'm sorry that I have to talk in code, but I know that you understand because of the high degree of censorship now on, well, just about all social media platforms. So if I want to stay on YouTube, I do have to use code, and I apologize for that. I know it's cumbersome and kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is right now. So anyway, so multiple people injured, this one is saying, and this witness has heard 5 people have, and I'm not making light of this. Really, I'm not. My heart and prayers and, go out to these people and their families. I don't know. It's too soon to know whether this is, what this is exactly. I don't know. It's way too soon. And the same with the one in Philadelphia. That appears to be just, he already had a rap sheet, and it looks like it was an arrest gone bad. But again, news is still coming in, and they're still sorting through all that. And again, there's different stories there. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow to let some of this flesh out and see what we have there. But it appears like it is not probably an FF. So there we go. But this one, I don't know yet. It says live now, West Virginia, fruiter, nice town, Tioga, Philadelphia continues. 2 dead in West Virginia. So let me just go down here, see what we have. Shooter in West Virginia in custody at this time. That's good news. While the police standoff is still ongoing in Philadelphia, it appears there is another fruiter in Hancock County, West Virginia, with unconfirmed reports of multiple injured near Oak Glen High School. What a day. Now, that's not all, because I just heard, and I have not verified this, I have not had time to verify this, that there is another mass fruiting in Chicago. Now, that's not unusual, and what is unusual, or what is, I guess, questionable to me, is why the media never makes a big deal about that. Maybe because it's a Democrat-run city, and a lot of it, most of it, is black-on-black crime, and I guess that doesn't fit their narrative, so they're not pushing that. I don't know. And the fact that isn't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Chicago is supposed to be gun-free zone, isn't it? How's that working out for them? Not too good. This says, let me see here. Just want to see if there's anything else here. It says, people like to rubberneck, so just a warning, West Virginia has an fruiter and is telling everyone to stay inside, so maybe y'all should listen and not try to get phone happy recordings to get social media famous. That's good advice, really. That's the last thing you want to do if you're hearing shots around you, is to go out and see what's going on. That's just not the best thing to do. Sure, you might get a good video, but it's not going to do you much good if you're dead. So there you go. But I guess someone is saying that he is now in custody. I hope that is the truth. Let me see if I can update this and see what we have. Doesn't get any fresher than this. My mom and stepdad are on lockdown thanks to a fruiter in West Virginia. Thankfully, they're okay, but bloody hell, that's scary. I can only imagine. I have been shot at once through the windshield of my car, and really the way it lodged inside the windshield. So I was very, very, well, I would like to say fortunate, but I believe that there was providence involved in that. And yeah, it was scary. Very, very scary. I would not want to experience that again. Not ever. So I do feel sorry for the people that are there. So we're getting the same thing. 2 people. Says local police have surrounded a home in New Cumberland, West Virginia, after reports of a fruiter and multiple injuries. So that's 2. We've got Philadelphia and West Virginia tonight, and let's see if we can find. Just because I just heard it as I was starting to record, so let me see if we can find anything about I don't even want to say this. Let's see if anything comes up there. And it doesn't seem to be, so maybe that's a false report, and I really hope so. Let me just do this. I'm not spelling that right. I don't know, my brain's starting to shut down already tonight. That's not right. It's got 2 C's in there. My gosh, first day with the new hands. I'm still not spelling it right. Okay, well, it's saying another Walmart. Don't know what is happening. Well, this is over the weekend. Wow. But this is, I think this is right now. Well, no, it's August 6th, so I don't know. That could be a false report, so I'm going to go on with the rest of what I have tonight, and that will I will look into that as soon as I'm done recording. I will look into that to see if there's any, if it can be verified at all. I pray that there's nothing else going on, because I think that there's been quite enough today. But let's just go on with the news. All right, this I found a little interesting. Okay, I found it a lot interesting. FBI arrests Ohio teen for online threats and finds 25 firearms, 10,000 rounds of ammo. Authorities allege Justin Olson, 18, made online threats under the name of Army of Christ against federal authorities and Planned Parenthood. To me, this sounds like, somebody on the left might have set this up, because that is exactly what they are trying to promote. They're trying to promote this, whole idea of, this person, I guess, was doing a lot of memes, and, let's just go on and read here. Let's just go on and read. The FBI arrested an 18-year-old from Ohio for making online threats, including against the federal government and Planned Parenthood, and found a large cache of weapons, authorities said. When agents raided the Boardman, Ohio house where Justin Olson was living, they recovered 15 rifles, 10 semi-automatic pistols, and roughly 10,000 rounds of ammunition, according to a criminal complaint written by FBI Special Agent Themis. Oh gosh, I can't pronounce that name. That's let's just call him TT. Yeah, that's a good guess. And seen by NBC News, Olson, who wrote under the name of Army of Christ, was charged Monday with one count of threatening to assault a federal law enforcement officer. Sounds like MK Ultra. But maybe that's just me. All right, Army of Christ discussed supporting mass shootings and assault and or targeting of Planned Parenthood, according to TT. Assistant Mahoning County Prosecutor Michael McBride decided authorities had to act swiftly on the threats in the wake of the recent shootings in EP, and DAYTON, NBC affiliate, WFMJ reports. The case against Olson began earlier this year when FBI agents in Anchorage, Alaska, working in a chat room called iFunny, found a username, Army of Christ, making threatening comments. The user wrote online that he supported the OK BOMBING in 1995, and the fruiting of ATF agents in the siege of the WACO. We all know what happened there. Hell, even the OKBOMBING showed that armed resistance is a viable method of political change. There is no legal solution, Army of Christ wrote on August 6, according to the complaint. In conclusion, fruit every federal agent on site. Agents raided his place of residence, described in the complaint as his father's home, on August 7th, and found a large number of guns and bullets throughout the house and in a gun vault in Olson's room. Now, notice the color of this person, and whatever he's wearing here looks like perhaps I don't know what he's wearing, actually. I would guess, but it would just be a guess. Olson allegedly told agents that his writings were only a joke. Olson also characterized his comments as hyperbolic conclusion based on the results of the WACO siege, where the ATF, okay, I'm not going to read this sentence right here, but I'm hoping that you can see it. A message-seeking comment was left with Olson's attorney. Agents seized 15 rifles, 10 semi-automatic pistols, and roughly 10,000 rounds of ammo during the arrest. Olson is still in custody and scheduled to make an appearance in U.S. District Court in Youngstown on Friday. So, I don't know. I don't know whether they averted a fruiting, or whether this is just sort of an FF to get this narrative out there again because it's the narrative that they're wanting to pound home. They're pounding it home all the time, all the time. So I don't know, but I would welcome what you guys think about this. I know what I think. I don't buy it, but if it is true, then perhaps they thwarted another attack, which would be wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I hope that's the case. I really do. But, naturally, because of, everything that's happening with the mainstream media and the censorship and how everything gets, there might be a kernel of truth and everything else is blown out of proportion or just plain lied about, it's hard not to be suspicious and skeptical. This afternoon, I actually was running some errands and I was hungry. I stopped at Panera for some soup, and I never read Canadian newspapers because they are bought out anyway. I mean, you're never going to get the real news from a Canadian newspaper or a Canadian news agency, not ever. So I just don't waste my time on it. So anyway, it was sitting there before me and I was a little bit bored because, well, it's a long story, but I thought, I'll read it. And I was reading this article about Trump, and literally I became absolutely enraged. And I thought, I want to write to the person that wrote this article. And then I thought, what's the use? What is the use? I'd be wasting my time and my energy, really. But 98% of what they were saying was false. 98%. And I can bet you that everybody that picked up that article and read it in the news, because it was the Toronto News, and I bet you every single person that picked up that article and read it believed it. Pretty sad. It's pretty sad. That's where we are. It's where we are. I mean, we in Canada are worse. We're worse than you guys, really. I mean, there's a lot more, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like here, we just don't get any news. Like the boys that were found, that supposedly murdered that couple and a professor, not a word has come out really. I mean, they've just said, well, they were both shot. They shot each other or they shot themselves. It doesn't even differentiate against with that. It's just, they drop it. We never get information here about anything. And when we do, it's usually false, if not always. So anyway, at least in the States, there's more alternate news sources and there's more people that try to get the truth out, which is encouraging. All right. Okay, let's go back now and let's look at this. Now, if you haven't heard this yet today, you're going to be just, okay, I hope none of you have just eaten, really. And if you have, you might want to skip this because it's going to make you maybe throw up a little in your mouth. I'm just saying, I'm just warning you, okay? This from the Daily Mail. And now, exclusive. Epic find had a painting of BC wearing a blue dress and red heels and lounging in the Oval Office inside his Manhattan mansion. I wish I was making this up. I wish they were making this up. They're not. Visitor reveals a bizarre image inside the corn niblet lovers' $56 million lair. Epic Find had a painting of BC wearing a blue dress and red heels hanging inside his Manhattan home. Source who saw it during a business meeting told Daily Mail TV about its existence. The blue dress seemed to be a pointed reference to Clinton's former intern, ML, we all know who that was, who wore a blue dress during their toast in the White House. The painting was snapped inside the corn niblet lover's mansion in 2012, 7 years before he was accused of running a, sex trafficking ring of underage girls. Yeah. The original Painting is called Parsing. Bill is by Australian-American artist Patrina Ryan Clyde, or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce that. Although it is unclear if Epic Find had bought the canvas or had a print mounted. Ryan Klein or Clyde, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Let's just call her Ryan K. Exhibited for her degree show when she graduated with an MFA, which is a Master's in Fine Arts, in 2012 from the New York Academy of Art. The source who asked to remain anonymous was visiting Epic Find to present a business proposal. She told Daily Mail TV it was absolutely BC. It was shocking. It was very provocative, sexual picture. Yeah, just get prepared to throw up a little in your mouth. You know, just get some water or something. All right. Epic Find and BC were friends with the 72-year-old flying on the now deceased financier's private plane, including, well, you know, what they called the airplane, several times. I think it was 27 times to be precise. The source also claimed she saw a young Hispanic girl waiting to meet with Epstein after her business meeting, saying the girl looked to be about 14. Epic Find was found dead by suicide on Saturday after he was arrested in July. Sure, it was suicide. Right. Okay, well, let's... Oh, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. Are you ready? No, really. Are you ready? Okay. There it is, folks. There it is. And notice this looks to be a... this book, what do you call them? Bookend, looks to be a replica of JFK to me. And here is, yeah, and it is the blue dress. It is the famous blue dress. Yes, yes, it is. And oh, look what color his shoes are. Well, imagine that. How symbolic. Looks like he may even have shaved his legs for the occasion and perhaps waxed his chest. I don't know. Or it could be the artist just took liberty there, thinking that, well, don't want all that hair spilling out of a gorgeous blue dress. Well, probably was gorgeous at one point. Yeah, I wonder how the Hill Dog feels about that. Yeah, I mean, every woman wants to see their husband in a blue dress and red heels, don't they? No, they don't. Yeah, and oh, and this is definitely the Oval Office because there is the edge of the presidential seal. Yes, and look, he matches the carpet. That's always important. Yeah, maybe he should have accessorized a little bit more, though, don't you think? I would have. I'm just saying. And there's his wedding ring. Totally meaningless as it is. So there you go. Yeah, just what every woman wants is a nice portrait of their husband, who was once the most powerful man in America, in the world, really, or one of the most powerful men in the world, sitting in a nice silk off-white, winter white chair with a bright blue dress and red high heels. No slip, though. He's not wearing a slip, and no bra. Because really, you don't need one if you're a man. So anyway, I just thought you might be interested in seeing that. Well, okay, I didn't think you'd be interested in seeing that, but I felt inclined to show you anyway. All right, and yeah. And look at this. This is, let me see, what is this? How Source Saw It. Epic Find had a bizarre portrait of BC hanging in his Manhattan mansion depicting the former president lounging on a chair in the Oval Office wearing red heels and an open-necked blue dress, a source exclusively told Daily Mail TV. Yeah. And looks suspiciously like this dress as well. Just saying. Yeah. You know, I never thought I would say this ever in my life, but I think she wore it better. I'm just saying. All right. It says the dress is also strikingly similar to the one worn by Hillary Clinton at the 2009 Kennedy Center Honors. And there's the man himself. Yeah. Epic Find and BC were once friends. Well, we know that. And then, yeah. So the color of the dress seemed to be a pointed reference to BC's former intern, ML, we all know who that is, who wore a blue dress during their infamous sexual encounter in the White House. Epic Find and BC were once friends with the now, okay, well, that we've already read that. That has been already spoken above. And it says, BC has now, however, denied being on Epic Find's corn niblet loving island, and a denial which Donald Trump sought to cast doubt on this week. Well, naturally, because he's in the record. I mean, they kept official records of who was on the airplane, and he's there 27 times. My gosh, it's not, you know, Epic Find's own documentation cast doubt on it. But I digress. All right, and it says the presence of the picture in a new twist in the relation is a new twist in the relationship between BC, his family, and Epic Find. Yeah, you know, don't tell me that BC did not know his portrait was hanging in Epic Find's Manhattan home, because I don't believe it. Last month, the former president's office said he had not known anything of Epic Find's crimes and had taken 4 trips with him in 2002 and 2003, although flight logs showed that he had taken a total of at least 26 individual flights in the course of those. One of Epic Find's former slaves, Virginia Roberts, claimed she saw BC on the island for a dinner held in his honor shortly after he left office and stood by the claim when questioned under oath. After the financier's apparent suicide on Saturday morning, Trump tweeted a suggestion that the CLINTONS were somehow involved in the death, and a link. Okay, I guess it was sort of a suggestion, but it's not like he was saying, well, this is what happened. He retweeted Terrence Williams' tweet, who has now received death threats and is being put down by the likes of the Vanderbilt boy, Anderson Cooper. Yeah. Who won't even call him by name, but everybody knows who he's talking about. So anyway, additionally, Epic Find's alleged procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell, was a guest at Chelsea Clinton's wedding to Mark Melzvinsky at least a year after the time when BC said his relationship with Epic Find ended. The origin of the painting is unknown. DailyMail.com has seen metadata which verifies where and when the picture was taken. It was hanging against a dark-colored wall in Epic Find's stone fortress. BC has his legs crossed over the arm of the chair with blood-red heels hovering over a rug that seems to bear the presidential seal. The shoulder of the blue dress hangs off to the side as BC seems to point a finger towards the viewer. The image is apparently inspired by the famous image of Uncle Sam used in James Montgomery's Flag's World War I recruiting poster. The source who spotted the painting said she saw it while being led from the office by his personal quarters when we saw the portrait. It was through a door that had been left temporarily open by his housekeeper or butler. I thought, why in the world would Epic Find have that up? I didn't even know they knew each other. Although she was stunned by the painting, her business partner managed to take a snap of the painting. She said he took a picture. I was mortified because there were cameras everywhere. The source added that she was inside Epic Fine's home for around an hour and a half for the meeting, which had been arranged by the Corn Niblet Lovers' then assistant, Leslie Groff. The glamorous blonde was named as a possible accomplice and granted immunity in Epic Fine's controversial plea deal in 2008. The source said, "We had been in communication with Leslie Groff. She was the person who coordinated our meeting. We were met at the door of Epic Fine's penthouse by a butler. He had a real butler, an old gentleman who walked with a limp. He led us to Leslie's circular office. She was beautiful and fabulous and so nice and bubbly. Then she led us to Epic Fine's private quarters, which is when we passed by the open door and the portrait. We went into his dining room and spoke to him about the proposal." And there he is with his intern, looking very cozy. And this is Epic Fine's Manhattan home, and the largest personal residence in New York, imagine. And there is Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. And here we are. This is the picture that was taken. Yeah, I would not, honestly, if I had that up in my home, it would give me nightmares, and I wouldn't be able to eat. I'd lose weight. It would be great as a weight loss supplement, but other than that, no, not ever. Okay. After the discussion, the source returned to the waiting area and said she noticed a young Hispanic girl was waiting to see Epic Fine. She said, "We were wrapping things up with his private secretary, and I noticed a young Hispanic girl there, all hunched over her phone, waiting to see him next." I thought it was odd that she was in the same waiting room we were in. She was really young. She looked about 14. I thought maybe she was the housekeeper's daughter. The source added that during her hour-long discussion with Epic Fine, he struck her as a creepy man. No, really? She said he came out in pajamas. Oh, he wasn't messy, but he had on a white t-shirt, pajama bottoms, and bare feet. He was very gray, and he looked creepy. Yeah, people don't generally have meetings in their pajamas. I'm just saying. But I guess he wanted to be ready for his next guest. Disgusting, but true. He looked like a villain to me. I immediately knew we didn't want to do business with him despite wanting the contract. I knew he would bury us if something went wrong. The proposal fell through and she never worked with the billionaire. The macabre and excessive decor of Epic Fine's home has been well documented. While the New York tax officials assessed the home at $55.93 million, chump change. Government prosecutors assessed it to be worth $77 million. The sidewalk outside the home was heated so that any snow that settled on the pavement would melt immediately. Now, why can't they make all the roads like that up here? Really, I'm just saying. Probably too expensive because they need that money for all the visitors that they're inviting in. All right, and it is complete with multiple bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a 2-floor reception room, and 3 3-room suites that span the entire 4th floor. Well, a Vanity Fair article noted that Epic Fine decorated his entrance hall with row upon row of individually framed eyeballs imported from England. Well, the man didn't have very good taste, did he? No. Row upon row of individually framed eyeballs. They didn't say if they were real eyeballs or not. I'm assuming they weren't, but one never knows, do they? So there you go. And that is the private Boeing 727 airliner that carried prominent passengers, also allegedly ferried underage girls. And here is at least one incident of, it's plain to see there, BC. Oh, and Kevin Spacey. And I can't read that other word. And you can't make me. All right. So, says one visitor to the, I think it's over. Oh yes, and look at this. In February 2002, Naomi Campbell was aboard the aircraft with BC, according to the flight log. So that is that word that I was trying to see there. Okay, one visitor to the sinister townhouse told the New York Times that there was a chessboard at the bottom of the stairs with customized figurines modeled after one of Epic Fine's staffers and dressed suggestively. Among the bizarre interior oddities is the mural on the second floor that Epic Fine commissioned that shows him in the middle of a prison scene and surrounded by barbed wire, guards, and a guard station. Perhaps he knew of his fate. R. Curry Hay, a public relations specialist who was invited to Epic Fine's home and viewed the mural just 3 months ago, recalled the billionaire saying, "That's me, and I had this painted because there is always the possibility that could be me again." See, he knew. Why would somebody, I can't imagine. But anyway, other people too have visited the home, noted a life-size doll hanging from a chandelier and a dining room designed to resemble a beach. He has a table in the dining room covered with photos of famous faces, including a signed picture with former President BC. There's also a wall in Epic Fine's study decorated with photos of director Woody Allen and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. Well, that name should sound familiar to us that have been following Q. Other visitors to the home noted a large 20-seat dining table surrounded by computer screens and phones. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, well, that's enough of that. No, really, that's more than enough of that. And let's go back here. Let's look at this. Now, I do have the link to these 950 pages of documents, and I have yet to go through them. Certainly not going to be going through all 950 pages, but I am going to peruse them and see what is there. But let's go take a look here at this article, because we can. And it says, exclusive, Google Insider turns over 950 pages of docs and laptop to DOJ. Well, this should be interesting. Former Google Insider claiming the company created algorithms to hide its political bias with artificial intelligence platforms, in effect targeting particular words, phrases, and contexts to promote, alter, reference, or manipulate perceptions of internet content, delivered roughly 950 pages of documents to the Department of Justice Antitrust Division Friday. The former Google insider, who has already spoken to the non-profit organization Project Veritas, met with Sarah A. Carter on several occasions last week. He was interviewed in silhouette to conceal his identity in group's later film, which they say exposed bias inside the social media platform. Several weeks prior, the insider mailed a laptop to the DOJ containing the same information delivered on Friday, they said. The former insider is choosing to remain anonymous until Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, reveals his identity tomorrow, and his identity has been revealed. He told this reporter on his recent trip to Washington, D.C., that the documents he turned over to the Justice Department will provide proof that Google has been manipulating the algorithms and the evidence of how it was done, the insider said. Now, none of this is new to us. None of it's new. It's just that now we have an insider that has documentation of this stuff to actually conclusively prove it. And it's in the hands of the DOJ, who I hope doesn't screw it up. He told this reporter, okay, I read that already. Let me see here. Okay, Google CEO Sundar Pichai told the House Judiciary Committee in December 2018 that the search engine was not biased against conservatives. Oh, and we all believed him, didn't we? No, we didn't. Not any of us believed him. Did you? I knew you didn't. I'm just joking. Pichai explained what algorithms are said Google's algorithms were not offensive to conservatives because its artificial intelligence does not operate in that manner. He told lawmakers things like relevance, freshness, popularity, how other people are using it are what drives the search results, which I said even if its programmers were anti-Republican, the process is so intricate that the artificial intelligence could not be manipulated, and it was too complicated to train the algorithm to fit their bias. And of course, all that was, well, a big old load of dog poo. Just saying. No, actually, that's actually calling it dog poo is, I hate to insult dogs, so I don't know what to call it. Maybe a Schiff poo. Adam Schiff poo. It's just a whole lot of Adam Schiff poo. That's about as low as you can get. Okay, now the insider says Google is aware most people are unaware or not knowledgeable about these advanced IT systems and therefore unable to determine who is telling the truth. I honestly think that a free market can fix this issue, he told this reporter at a meeting in Washington, D.C. The issue is that the free market has been distorted, and what's happened is that the distortion is so grotesque and the engineering is so repulsive, all we need to do is just expose what's going on. People can hear that it is bad, but they can be biased, but that can be biased. But when they see what Google has actually written with the documents, this will actually be taught in university of what totalitarian states can do with this type of capability. It is so revolting that it doesn't matter what the solution is. A solution will just form as a reaction to this manipulation they have done, the Google insider said. I have lots of respect for this insider, lots and lots. He said he asked himself many times if he's overreacting, and every time I simply look back at the documents and realize that I'm not. It's that bad, he said. Disclosing Google's own words to the American public is something I must do if I am to consider myself a good person. The world that Google is building is not a place I or you or our children want to live in. Amen. I think we all agree to that. Now, this from James O'Keefe. Tomorrow, our ML Fairness Google Insider comes out of the shadows and over 1,000 pages of internal documents are released. Google might take this new video down. Sign up for our video list now. Now, I do have a link to those documents. I'm a little hesitant to put that link in. Sometimes I put the links in the first, pin it to the first comment. I'm a little bit leery to do that. I think you all know why. So I think I'm going to wait on that, but I am going to check it out and just see what's in there, and we'll see. I need to see what is being censored and what isn't before and I do need to, and I've needed to for a very long time, get set up on BitChute or another platform that is not censoring, so that I can release things that I want to release and not worry about this. I don't like being told what I can say and what I can't, and that is not free speech at all. So there you go. And I think we're all aware of that. I'm preaching to the choir here. Okay, another Google insider who has come forward already told O'Keefe and other media outlets recently that it is the programmers at Google who use the algorithms to manipulate the information to advance its leftist agenda. Greg Coppola, a software engineer, told Project Veritas that he doesn't have a smoking gun. However, I've just been coding since I was 10. I have a PhD. I have 5 years of experience at Google, and I just know how algorithms are. They don't write themselves. We write them to make them do what we want them to do. Well, of course. I look at search and I look at Google News and I see what it's doing. He said, I see Google executives going to Congress and say that it's not political, and I'm just so sure that that's not true. The unnamed Google insider first spoke to O'Keefe's Project Veritas. O'Keefe has been criticized by the left for outing the political bias of executives and employees of Google and other social media companies. In the nonprofit's most recent video, Project Veritas uses their undercover technique to get Google employees to talk talk openly about their disdain for Trump and how their artificial intelligence operates. Jen Janai, who heads Google's response innovative team, did not know she was being filmed by O'Keefe's group. She told the undercover journalist that the reason we launched our AI principles is because we're not putting our line in the sand. They were not saying that what's fair and what's equitable. So we're like, well, we're a big company. We're going to say it. So there you go. I mean, and like I said, this isn't news to any of us. What is news here is that they have these documents now from Google insiders. They've been handed over to the DOJ, and they have people that are saying, yeah, this is what we're doing. We all knew that. We're not stupid. Okay, maybe we don't have degrees in computer science. Maybe some of you do. But it doesn't take that. We can see we're being censored. It's quite obvious to anyone. So, and by the way, I did want to mention, because this is kind of related, that DuckDuckGo has been purchased by Google. So if you go to DuckDuckGo and you are expecting to get unbiased search results, well, you can think again, because now it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. You're not going to get whatever they don't want you to see. You're not going to see. But I have found one that is apparently unbiased. I don't know if any of you guys who are into computers, like computer science or whatever, I know some of you work in the field, then let me know. But I have started using startpage.com. I've been told that it's anonymous and it's unbiased. So startpage.com. Do not use a DuckDuckGo. It has been purchased by Google. Yeah. All right. Pretty soon Google will own the whole world. And we'll just be living inside their world. If they let us live. I don't know. Okay. Let's go back now, because there is plenty more to get to. Yes, there is. Now, let's look at this. Miami University hosts training to rid students of toxic masculinity. Yeah, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. You know, okay, I've had this talk with you guys before, and you know how I feel, and I think probably 99% of you feel the same, so I won't get into it again. Miami University in Oxford, Ohio is hosting a program that aims to help students rid themselves of toxic masculinity. Well, you know what? I hope that there are still men out there that are holding on to their toxic masculinity, because I would like a toxically masculine man, not some soy boy. I'm just saying. Just saying. You know, I like to have doors opened for me. I don't find that offensive. I like to have car doors open for me. I don't find that offensive. It does not make me less of a person or, you know, less intelligent. It is just manners. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Why women, but let them have it. Let them have it. Yeah, I'll take the toxic masculine guy. I don't, yeah, you know. Okay, according to a report by the College Fix, the program, which is called Masculinities at Miami, was created by the university's Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion in an effort to train students to express their masculinity in healthy ways. Advocates of toxic masculinity theory believe that American men subconsciously adopt destructive and harmful behaviors through society. Yeah, I think it was probably those destructive and harmful behaviors that colonized America. Don't you think? Do you think it was soy boys? It wasn't. Okay. So anyway, I'm not even going to get into this anymore. I just wanted to let you know that this is what's happening. And most of you already know. So let's go back, because there is so much more. Oh, yes. Let's take a look at this. This is good news. Good news. Fox News reports that 14 miles of new wall along The U.S. southern border was built just last week, and apprehensions are since down 43%. The wall is being built, and it's working. Woohoo! That's what we want. That's what we want. All right. And, oh, there's more. There's always more. I love this. By Cat Turd, because you know I love me some Cat Turd. Don Lemon said we should always believe the accusers, so I believe his. I do too. Yeah, he's the one that said, oh, always believe the accusers, always believe them. Well, okay, well then we'll just believe his accuser. Yeah, he rubbed lemons all over his this guy. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, now let's look at this. No, really, let's. Oh yes, and this we're already aware of this. More evidence to go through. Drone video shows FBI agents and New York Police Department cops seizing computer equipment from Jeffrey Epstein's mansion on a private island. It shows at least 2 desktop computers and an Apple computer. Okay, well, we already knew that. So I guess we found out again. All right, now let's look at this. No, really, let's take a look. Why? Because we can. Naturally. All right. Epic Fine's alleged Madam Ghislaine Maxwell has been found. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epic Fine's alleged accomplice, accused of helping recruit and groom dozens of underage girls for the billionaire corn niblet lover, has reportedly been located, and she's not far from New York City, where Epic Fine died by apparent suicide in his jail cell on August 10th. Maxwell, a former fixture in the elite social circles, hasn't been seen publicly in 3 years, adding to media speculation that she could be living abroad. The Daily Mail reports that finally she's been located in the Massachusetts seaside town of Manchester by the Sea. She is supposedly living with her boyfriend, Scott Borgerson, 43, a tech CEO who owns a company called Cargo Metrics, described as, hang on here, as an investment management firm that specializes in analyzing data on global shipping. Oh, gee, why would she be interested in global shipping? Gee, can't imagine. With Epic Fine no longer alive to face charges, attention has turned even more urgently to Maxwell and to Epic Fine's other employees who, victims say, helped facilitate his crimes. Maxwell, a former girlfriend of Epic Fine's, has been accused of, could you imagine being his girlfriend? Ew. Has been accused by several of Epic Fine's victims of enabling him to meet with underage girls for sex in what it amounted to a trafficking ring. She also has been accused of threatening victims with measures like withholding passports and phones. On Wednesday, one of Epic Fine's alleged victims became the first to sue Epic Fine's estate and his accomplices, presumably including Maxwell, under New York's brand new Child Victims Act. The Daily Mail has photos of the colonial mansion where she is supposedly holding up, although no snaps of Maxwell herself. Borgerson allegedly walks a dog. The article, maybe it's Maxwell, maybe he's walked, never mind. Walks a dog, the article described as Maxwell's in Manchester by the Sea and in Boston, where his company is located. A source is quoted saying that he has become a real homebody, rarely ventures out. She's the saying that she has become a real homebody, rarely ventures out. She's the antithesis of the woman who traveled extensively and partied constantly with Epic Fine. Maxwell has previously denied any wrongdoing regarding Epic Fine's criminal behavior, but Attorney General William Barr, who is leading a federal investigation with the Justice Department, said this week that the billionaire sex offender's death will not release accused accomplices, including Maxwell, from scrutiny. And why should it? If anything, she has lost leverage that she might have gained from potentially cooperating with law enforcement. Barr said that this case will continue on against anyone who was complicit with Epic Fine. Any co-conspirators should not rest easy. That is good news, because they should not. They are just as guilty as he was and is. He still is, even though, well, I was going to say even though he's dead, but we don't know that, do we? I suspect he's not, but I've been wrong before, and I'll probably be wrong again. All right, let's go back and let's look at this. Oh, poor Comey. Oh, I'm so sorry for Comey. Judge rejects FBI plea to keep Comey memos redacted. Oh, I love it. I'm sorry. I'm taking too much delight in that, aren't I? A federal judge ruled against the FBI's efforts to keep some redacted documents related to former FBI Director James Comey's memos hidden from the public. The ruling comes after the FBI asked Judge James Boasberg to reconsider a district judge ruling earlier this year that CNN and other media organizations and watchdog groups were entitled to information related both to Comey's memos and to how those memos were used in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Trump-Russia investigation, which concluded earlier this year, but the FBI battled against disclosure. The Bureau was claiming it had effectively asserted a Freedom of Information Act exemption as the basis to protect its redactions, but the judge said that the FBI never actually made this assertion in the relevant filings. Nevertheless, the FBI wanted the judge to act like it had and to rule accordingly in its favor to stop more information from being released. The FBI also argued that even though it invoked the National Security Act, it had actually meant to invoke the Freedom of Information Act instead. Oh my gosh. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And if you could, nobody'd believe you. Unbelievable. The judge denied these requests Monday, calling the arguments a bridge too far and pointing out the FBI never made the arguments it now wanted him to consider. Media and watchdog groups have fought to obtain documents related to Comey's notes through federal open records laws since May 2017, when the existence of Comey's memos were first made public. Those memos recount hotly disputed conversations between Comey and Trump that are hotly disputed. Well, generally, hotly disputed conversations are hotly disputed. Very odd way of writing that, but hey. Trump fired Comey on May 9th, 2017. Then one of the memos subsequently leaked by Comey to a friend was detailed in the New York Times a week later. Comey later told Congress he leaked the memo to prompt a special counsel investigation. The day after the story appeared, Mueller was appointed by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to investigate possible coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russian government during the 2016 presidential election. Now, everybody, all at once, collective eye roll. Yeah, okay. The Justice Department long argued the release of Comey memos in full would interfere with the special counsel investigation, and the court originally ruled in its favor, but redacted versions of the memos were eventually released to Congress and to the public. Following the completion of Mueller's investigation, CNN asked the court to unseal in full 3 documents, 2 2017 memos to the court authored by high-ranking FBI official David Archie, discussing why the special counsel compiled Comey's memos and answering the court's questions about the connection between the memos and the special counsel investigation, and a transcript of and other records related to Mueller's lawyer Michael Dreben's presentation to the court. Speculation that Comey's memos were used by Mueller seemed to be confirmed when Archie told the court that Comey memos shouldn't be released because they were considered evidence in the Trump-Russia probe. The FBI eventually handed over much of the requested information this year, but CNN and others still sought redacted information from Archie's final memo. Following this week's judicial ruling, the information is likely to be made public soon. Woohoo! Oh, yeah. DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz criminally referred Comey to the Justice Department earlier this year for the unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information in his memos, but the Justice Department declined to press charges. Comey is now not out of the woods yet. Well, good. He should stay in... I just, he should stay in the woods. That's where he belongs. However, as Horowitz is still scrutinizing him as part of the broader investigation into allegations of abuse of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. He's a piece of work, that Comey. A piece of work. All right. Let's go back now. Now, I want to show you this because, and part of me feels like I'm hoping that you get as upset as I did, because it will perhaps, you know, affirm me. Let's take a look. Now, it says, wow, Ilhan Omar has some competition in the fraud department. Here's Hodan Hassan, Minnesota state representative, defending her Somali buddies for committing $6 million in daycare fraud. She then gets owned for lying. MSN won't cover this, so retweet to expose her. Well, I'm doing even better than that. I am letting you guys know. Now, let's listen to this. Oh my.
9 reported that the Somali community stole $100 million from child care and sent it to Somalia to help Al-Shabaab. That was false. There is no conclusive evidence for that. So put that in the bank and swallow that pill.
I would suggest you read the Legislative Auditor's report, Representative.
Did she just say put that in the bank and swallow that pill? Oh, you can't, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. All right, let's go back. I'm sorry, I had to just, you know, it's crazy. How do these people get elected? Really? Can't some of you guys run for office? Really? Seriously?
And swallow that pill.
I would suggest you read the Legislative Auditor's report, Representative Hassan. There's $6 million of fraud convictions, proven fraud. There's nothing about any individuals other than the names of the individuals who are convicted is public record. It's in the report. 15 different convictions. There's fraud in Minnesota in the daycare program. To deny that and have the Democrats close their eyes to daycare fraud in Minnesota is a travesty. Please read the report.
When you take one report that says someone who committed a crime was related to somebody else, how many people are arrested in this country? 25% of the U.S. population are locked up. So let's all count how many people have committed crimes and find if they're your cousins, if they're your nephews, if they're your nieces, aunts, uncles. Let's do that, please. Let's do that.
Okay, here's she says, I mean, she's just spitting out all this nonsense. I mean, ridiculous. It's already been proven that, you know, this fraud has already been proven, okay? And she says, well, 25% of Americans are locked up. And as soon as I heard that, I thought, no, there is absolutely no freaking way that could be true. And so I actually went out and got the actual percentage of Americans that are in prison or incarcerated in some form or another, whether it's a local jail or state, federal, whatever. So, yeah, you know how many? How many? 0.07. 0.07. Not even 1% of Americans are locked up. And it's been going down, actually. So, yeah, 25%, that would mean 1 in 3 people in the United States is locked up in prison. Yeah, could you imagine? Could you imagine what would be needed to house all those people? Yeah, this lady is cuckoo. And yeah, it's not even 1%. And she's saying there's 25% of people locked up. Only in her head. Only in her head. Okay, now let's look at this. Ninth New York Police Department officer dies by suicide this year. 9. Yeah, 9. Like 9. New York, for the 9th time this year, a New York City police officer has died by suicide. The veteran off-duty police officer died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Boy, this sounds familiar. At his home in Laurelton, Queens, Wednesday evening. Sources say the officer's wife and 2 children, age 18 and 11, heard a shot, ran to see what it was, and found him. The officer, who had more than 25 years on the job, has not yet been identified. This is alarming, really. It is the 7th time since June that a New York Police Department officer has died by suicide, and the 2nd this week. Early Tuesday morning, an officer was found dead inside his Yonkers home of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The spate of officer suicides has prompted Police Commissioner James O'Neill and Chief of Department Terrence Monahan to convene mental health experts. They're considering putting peer counselors and clinicians in each precinct. We are bringing in what outside resources we can into the agency to talk to our cops, Monahan said on Tuesday. We're also making a lot of changes within the organization itself. We are looking to get peer counselors, so cops at each level. Cops at each level. That doesn't make sense. It should be for cops at each level. If you are in crisis, you can go talk to someone at your level that will have the training. We are working with Thrive to get these cops training. We just put it out. We are getting a lot of volunteers. We are looking to hire a lot more counselors. So, I just find this odd, very odd. And it makes me wonder if it's related to the Wiener laptop. I don't know, but there is something very suspicious about that. And it would be interesting to see what the average is in a year, like how many officers generally die by suicide. It would be really interesting to know that, because I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it is a very stressful job. I understand you're seeing things that are very distressful, but that is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So now, what I think I am going to do here, I've got a lot more stuff, but, oh yes, I want to just touch on this first before I end. I had forgotten about this, to tell you the truth, but somebody retweeted it. This is a tweet from Anthony Bourdain, who, of course, took his own life. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a moment. But look what he tweeted just before he passed. At 7:17 p.m., the 5th of June, 2018, he said, "I have information that will lead to the arrest of HC," this person right here. Yeah. Do you not think that might have drawn attention to him? Because, yeah, there's something about the CLINTONS that they don't like, anyone having any sort of information on them. Yeah, those people tend to disappear. So I just thought that was very, very interesting. And all right, well, I'm going to leave it there for tonight, because I do still have some things to cover, but it's getting late and I do want to get this uploaded so at least some of you can see it. So there you go. I'm going to sign off for now. I see my buddy back here is back here. Where are you there? Oh, that's your back end. There you go. There's the good end. Look at him. Now, that's a good looking cat. I don't care what you say. All right. So I'm going to sign off for now. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you will touch back again. Or I don't know what I'm saying. It's late. You know what I mean? You know how I get. But please, if you want to be subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed, because they are playing games with numbers again. And I know I am shadow banned. I've been kicked out of the suggested videos. So, well, I don't know if that's a badge of honor or not, but it is what it is. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay well, and keep seeking truth, because This guy wants you to. He does. Really. He's a truth cat. Truth-seeking Xander. So seek the truth for him, okay? Good night.